So we're going to do 3 and then I'm going to put them together in a little sequence. So we'll start with a Padma lotus, which is, if you think about a lotus, it's a flower. So put the kind of bottom of your wrists together and then put your elbows together. So you're getting this little bit of a squeeze with your shoulder blades. And think about going nice and tall from the neck out from there, and then spread all those fingers, so you're really stretching all the fingers. And then I think it's really nice, you can think about the lotus flower growing out of a murky, muddy pool. And this idea, the Buddha often sits on the lotus, that we can rise up out of the muddy waters. So here is your lotus, and just take a couple of deep breaths, like you're smelling a flower, the petals. Expand the chest, and you'll get a stretch there on the backs of the shoulders as well, and then exhale. So this will be the first one, and then we will transition this one into flying lotus mudra. So this one, you're going to bring the little finger and the ring finger together and cross them over, and then just touch the middle finger, the index finger together like a steeple making a church, and then the thumb comes down. So it looks a bit like that. It's very similar to the one we did in week 2. So you've got those crossed over, and then the other two nice and straight. You're getting a stretch there. Middle finger, index finger, thumbs will touch. So flying lotus. We can think about this rising above the head, so taking this into a bit of a full body stretch. Think about growing nice and tall and at the back of the neck. So the flying lotus thinks it's kind of working with perseverance. You can imagine this flower floating out of the murky waters and reaching up into the sky. So it can remind you kind of the natural beauty of what nature's going to do. It lifts, it keeps growing, and it keeps working and growing towards, to the light. So floating above the murky waters of desire, fear, and attachment. And then if you imagine the flower, you're going to drop petals, and we're going to go into Makala. So this one, the thumbs just touch with the tips of the fingers. This one's really quite a nice, gentle mudra. It promotes kind of grounding, enhances self-expression, creativity. So I'm just coming away from the book so you can see it. So this is like you're going to imagine petals, and then we're going to fall, and this is going to go down towards the floor. So let's do those 3 standing at the mat, and we'll put it into a full body exercise. So find your center, so find your pelvic floor. Let's thinking about engage that throughout this process. Tuck the pelvis under, find TVA. So starting, do you remember with the Padman, the lotus flower? So just touching little fingers, touching thumbs, elbows, touching, spread the fingers and take a deep breath. Thinking about the pelvic floor here and TVA, so keep that engaged as we take that breath. Exhale, and then just interlink little fingers, ring fingers, touch the other 2 fingers, open the elbows, touch thumbs. Flying lotus mudra, start to lift. You're growing up out of the murky waters. Take a full body stretch and breathe in. Still keep that pelvic floor connected, and then release into Mukala when you're just touching thumbs with those tips of the fingers. The petals of the flower are going to fall down. And then here, if you want to, chin to chest, slow roll down. Come all the way down to the floor for your petals. And then pressing into the floor, uncurl. You can release those fingers. So we'll do it 2 more times. I won't talk as much on these next ones. So again, you start with your lotus flower and take a deep breath. Try and find that connection in there with the pelvic floor, and then flying mudra, flying lotus. Make the interlinking with the fingers. Touch the middle 2 fingers, reaching up. Going into your petals, changing that mudra, chin to chest, bend the knees deeply, come down to the floor. And resetting. So much in nature is about change and impermanence. Last time, take that deep breath. And then you're flying Lotus into your lift. Exhale. Mukala into the petals. And coming down to the floor. And coming back to center. Quite a nice gentle practice, and it's a real nice mind-body connection. This one's a bit more fun, a bit more silly. This goes to the Halloween and the skeleton. So you're going to just kind of go to one arm, and this is on wrist, and then this idea, there's a bit of movement going on here. Keep the pelvic floor pulled in, like you're a skeleton dancing, and then to the other side. So the wrist and the fingers. Just the movement on the joints, the elbows, the shoulders. Have you ever seen a skeleton dance? Bend the legs, so go to your ankles and just wiggle. Circle ankle, circle knee, circle hip. A little bit of a wiggle in the hip. And then the other side, let's go to the ankle. We're getting into the balance as well. A little bit of shaking. Knees and hips, and then anything going together if you feel it. That's the little skeleton dance. Come to center. Tuck your pelvis under. Shoulder circles. Lift your shoulders up to your ears. A bit of a squeeze. Try not to lean forwards with your head. Keep your length at the back of the neck. Connection with the pelvic floor. Then arms. Let's go circling with these arms. Breathing in left, breathing out lower. Maybe it's the first time today that you've really checked in with the breath. That's also fine. Then let's imagine we're a big bat, big wings. Coming open, coming in together. Breathing in, expand through these wings, breathing out, coming together. Depending on your bat status, you might open and do some flying out in bat and come together. Long exhale all the way back together. 2 more breaths here. Expand that rib cage. Nice, and side bend. Try and keep the hips still there in the center. Again, connecting to that pelvic floor. Soften in the knees. If you want more, reaching fingertips over, really stretch through that side body. Your pace here. If you want to slow this down, that's totally fine. Exhale into the extension. Gonna put more in if you want it here. We're gonna go sundial. So on sundial, you hold opposite elbows. This goes over the head. You can put a little bit of pressure, forearms onto the head, and then you side bend here. Bend in the knees. You bring this forwards to take a forward fold. Head looks between the knees. Peel it around to the other side. Elbow towards the knee, and then lifting back up. Quite intense, so if it feels like it's too much there on the lower back and we're putting in twists, just go back to the simple side bend. Engaging that core with this as well. 2 more. Your pace. Just checking up, going back round the other way as well, just keeping that balance. Back to center. Going to go into squats. I'm going to put some options in if you want them. Glute bands just over the knee. So if you want glute med in particular on this. And also you've got the options of putting in free weights. So I'll put everything in, but you can choose whether you want all that in there. Coming to the edge of the mat, front raise into the squat. Take the hips back into space. Knees, feet, hip width. Just checking we're not pronating with the feet. Adding in, circle the arms around into the squat. Side step. Squat, circle. Breathing in as you lift, looking forwards. So choice here then is squat, side step, lift, arms up, squat, side step, and lift. Hard to hold that front raise also. Think about zombie there. Going back to that Halloween. By the end of the session, you'll just be so sick of it, sorry. Never done trick-or-treating in my life, always lived too far in the middle of nowhere. Okay, that's quite a lot, isn't it? Let's take your band away. Skeleton out of your band. Wide squat. Missed this one last week, so just taking the feet slightly facing out. Maybe you need a wiggle in the hips if you're a little bit tight. Let's get nice and upright. Roll the shoulders back, tuck the pelvis in. Big circle, big moon. All the way around. Try and keep the head still. The center still. Find the pelvic floor again. Just checking in with the breath. Breathing in left. Breathing out. Bring it down with control. 4 back round the other way. Lower if it suits you. Bring it down into the sumo. Okay, let's release. Put the weights down. Just a stretch today, no gate pose later, so let's just go take the inner thigh stretched in, standing. Placing your hands just on the bent knee, other leg nice and straight. Think about growing tall here, so grow up the spine. Try not to just lift your chin. Think about that crown of head in line with the spine. And then over to the other side. Again, crown of head in line with the spine, so try not to just lift up the chin with that one. Then a bit like we did on side bend, we can take that into a bit of a sundial, so just sweeping across, lifting up, bending in the knees here, so we're just kind of working with that stretch we've just done, putting it into a bit more of a dynamic movement, brushing fingertips on the floor, other way around. Breathing in on that lift, breathing out as you come down towards the floor. Okay, nice, bring it all the way down. Okay, let's take a balance. You can go hands at heart center, or maybe you like to go back to any of those mudras we've done. Just holding the balance. Perhaps find the anchoring point, so whether you're using your feet, your toes, your pelvic floor, your glutes. Couple of breaths. So the next thing we're going to try with balance is a bit tricky on the mat, but you can try it. We're going to see if we can go like a jewelry box girl and spin around. So it moves, it's going to train the feet, so I'm just going to show you a bit more on my feet. So it might be easier on carpet as well, is what I was thinking on this. So a little bit of tree, or even just holding the balance. You're going to see if you can move your balance round. And if anyone's seen one of those jewelry boxes, they're very graceful. Then the other way round. So it's just a bit, you remember last week we did toe scrunching. It's a very similar exercise. You scrunch up your toes to get some movement to go around. Small movements. So back round the other way, and then come back to center, and again, whether you're in mudra or your hands together, go to the other leg. Same thing, find your balance, find your anchors. Start to strengthen the ankles, and then just see if you can do some toe scrunching, some heel lifting. You almost rock forwards and back into this to get the turning round in that balanced position. And then back around the other way. Great, okay, go and do your single leg exercise now. So whether you do your squats on a chair, you do your dips on a step, whether you want to lunge or deadlift. And also you can put in your weights on your lunges and deadlifts if you want to. I might do the step today. 10 on each leg. And then we'll meet back together. Thinking on these, let's think about the feet, the knees. The knees are going to want to wobble and pronate into that midline, so keep them there hip width. You'll also find hips want to drop on this, so just squeeze the glutes on that lift, send the hips forwards and up. And also you can take your time. So a lot of these work with balance as well. Shoulders relaxed. Eye gaze forwards. We often look down on some of this. You can also do this exercise that I'm doing today, the step one. You can also do it like a compass, so you can go forwards and then side if you haven't got the stairs or anything to do your single leg exercise. You can take it more like around the body. Very good if you have a buffet, a small buffet. All of these are going to be strengthening those knees. Activating glutes. Should be engaging the core as well. When we come back in, we'll go to downward dog. So you can meet me there if you're ready. Jazz walk in your downward dog. Send those hips up to the ceiling, get some length through the spine. Feet hip width apart. So a bit of a play here in downward dog if you want it is a wild thing. So you can take knee to elbow and then lift that up, opening the hips, and then dropping that foot to go up and over onto one hand, and then you can twist that and bring it all the way back round. You might just be enjoying the stretch there in downward dog. Try and get that nice line on the back of the shoulders, the spine, spread the fingers. One more breath. Here in the downward dog. And then we're coming onto all fours. The key. Hands under shoulders and knees under hips. Just take a moment to find the pelvic floor. Find TVA. And you could always go straight in and find 100% on that, and then just ease it out slightly so you're not working too hard on it. We're going to go the same side. Same side with the arm, same side with the leg. You have to tilt your balance over to one side into that nice extension, challenging the balance, then tilt it over to the other side like you're doing Pilates on a ferry. Tilt and lift, squeezing into that glute, into that lift. You'll find that the back foot that's on the mat, the stabilizing foot, will kind of want to move around to help you with balance. So see if you can keep it on like a midline, not on a midline, but on the hip width, and it's not kind of moving. So you're using your core there to stabilize your lower back and core. You could even go just on the knee. There's the challenge. One more, and then opposite. So opposite sides, opposite arm, opposite leg extend. Feel that really strong, solid center, squeezing in the glutes. There isn't all this tilting on the ferry thing going on. It's strong, squeezing in the glutes, eye gaze forwards, fingertips facing forwards, arm up level with your shoulder. Couple more. Then we'll release. We'll go low lunge, just stepping forwards with one foot. Check your hip width. Just tucking, if it's comfortable for the knee, tuck this back foot under. Get a stretch there on the foot. Get a little bit more intensity on the hip flexor. Engage the pelvic floor. Sink the hips down. Shoulders down and back, looking ahead. If you want more here, you could, I'm going to put in a quad stretch, but I'm also going to offer you to the quad stretch in a pigeon also. So you could take hold of this back foot. It's been a while since I've done this one, so it's quite intense. So you can put that one in there if you want. Eye gaze forwards, keep these shoulders nice and square. Now, there is the option, and we'll do it anyway, we'll go down into pigeon. And you can do that with pigeon also, so there is that in there if you want it. Or if you're thinking more front body and getting into that really good, nice upright stretch on pigeon. Taking a deep breath here. Then we're going to come back up to what would be that low lunge, but instead that front leg is going to straighten. So instead of being in the lunge position, straighten and just taking a lovely ankle circle, hamstring stretch. If any pain on the knee, just standing up, you can stand up doing this, flick your toes up to the ceiling and take this nice circle back around the other way, just really rinsing out the ankles, any tightness. And then we'll go to the other side and we start with that low lunge. tuck that back toe under just to get that intensity on the front body, on the hip flexors. Gets nice and upright. Engage the pelvic floor. Oh, I should have said actually more intensity. You could always put in that flying lotus. Lift that up over that head. That's quite a nice nice thing to bring in. Eye gaze forwards. So then if you liked it, you're grabbing that back foot. It is work with balance as well. You can take that stretch in there. And then pigeons, so bringing it down a bit closer to the mat. Option again, you could take that position with the leg lifting at the back. Don't be afraid to take your hand off the mat, work with balance, so if that's more useful. Or you can just take pigeon as normal. Just some little options. Just having a look over at the screens, just seeing how people are getting on with that. Nice. Then coming back up, and what would be that low lunge is then going to be a hamstring stretch. We're not kind of forcing into that stretch, not coming forwards, we're just taking some space, getting some length down the leg, and just really focus on the ankle circle with that. Back around the other way, just rinsing out the feet, the ankles, and they're so well connected only to the legs, so just giving those legs a little bit of a stretch out. Thinking about the posture here, so try not to look down, so try and keep nice and open. Okay, from there then, we're going to come down onto our fronts. Sphinx or cobras here, I'll leave that one up to you. Cobras, bring your hands a bit more under your shoulders, gently lift, gently lower, crown of head staying in line with the spine. Sphinx, elbow under your shoulders, send your hips down. Find that abdominal stretch, lift the heart. Shoulders down, crown of head rising. Same on cobras, really think about the crown of head lifting. Sending the toes off the end of the mat. So we've done a bit of a quad stretch, so if you want to, you could go into tilted bow here straight off, or if you want to do a little bit more on quads, you could do your one at a time quad stretch. So if you didn't quad stretch earlier in the low lunge position, you might want to do your quad stretch now, sending your hips down into the mat. If you've already done those quad stretches in pigeon and low lunge, you might want to go up into bow. Lift the chest, shoulders back, look ahead, lift the kneecaps, release, and you might rock that over to the side. Big shoulder stretch. Exhale as you rock it around to the side. Swapping legs if you're doing your stretch for your quads. So from here I'm going to give you scorpion. It's very similar to a wild thing, which we've already done on warm-up, but if you don't like a scorpion, it's lifting up one leg and it's tilting side to side on a windscreen wiper, so you're getting those gentle stretches in the lower back, in the pelvis. If you're with me on scorpion, it's going to be bending in one knee, and then you're going to lift the knee off the mat, hands at either side, and you're lifting up and round. This is the scorpion tail, and then you're coming back to center. And then lift the kneecap, You've got your fingertips going into the mat, your elbows bent, and you're lifting up and round. You need a bit of space either side. Has a very similar feel to the wild thing from downward dog. Some people might want to go, hand to hand there to foot to hand. That's kind of a little bit of an interesting idea. You can always move the position where the hands are to get there. And that's your scorpion. Okay, one more on our fronts then. Just resting the head on the hands, glute activation, lift and lower, point the toes, lifting up that straight leg, glute squeeze, hamstring engages, other side of the lower back stabilizes this move. Notice if you're pressing down with the resting leg. I know I always do that. So I'm lifting one leg and then I'm using the other leg to push again. So just see if you can let go of the leg that's not doing the work. Give it a rest. So we're going to go back to the bats and a swan dive. So arms out to the sides, big wings. Lifting up those wings, a bit of a circle into that. Then go into cactusy position, extend, and then release down. Find your wings. Circling. Take another breath, cactus. Exhale. Reach those arms forwards and release. Just two more. And then release into Halloween cat. So rounding the top of the back, chin to chest. Tuck the pelvis under. Send the breath between the shoulders. If you feel like a wrist stretch, then take one at a time. Fingers going around the outside. If you feel like you want to spiral the shoulders, just working into the edges of any stretches there, or spiraling with the hips as well. Any tightness in any of hips or shoulders. If you want more spine mobility, cat, Halloween cat to happy cat. Just one more breath here. So coming down, we're going to go front plank. Imagine you're a broomstick. Elbows underneath your shoulders. And option 1, knees down, bendy broomstick. Option 2, legs straight. Engage that pelvic floor, engage that TVA, and let's just hold. We'll go for about 30 seconds here. Crown ahead in line with the spine. Keep the focus there in the core, staying nice and strong. Long exhales. Ten more seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a 10 seconds rest. So same again, we'll go front plank, This time we're going to spin it, we're going to go side. So we're on our front here, broomsticks, then come to the side, go to the side, and then go back to center. So if you can count yourself 5 seconds. So you're 5 seconds center, 5 seconds side. See if you can do it 3 times through. Option 2, legs straight. So when you're ready, 2, 3, 4, 5. Side, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You're on center, yeah? Keep it going. 2. Keep those hips up on your side, engage the core. Elbows pointing up to the ceiling when you hit the side part of this move. And then we'll all rest in the middle. Okay, we're going to go fingerting press ups. Take your hands off the mat, go on your fingertips. So you're not in cow position, you're slightly forwards in between what would be broomstick and a cat position. Bending in the elbows, bring yourself down, hover, pressing through those fingertips, lift. If that's too much, you can actually go on fists as well, that's another option if your fingers are struggling with that. And I think what we're trying to find here is a chest stretch. If you imagine it as a chest stretch more than a press up, it always sounds a bit more appealing. And then we're going to release child's pose. Sitting back to the heels, bring the forehead down, send the breath to the lower back. Just an option if you want it, holding to the feet, holding onto the feet, or even pressing into the feet, or just holding them can be quite comforting. 5 deep breaths. And gently coming up, we'll go to the side, so picking a side. How do I do time? Okay. A seated twist, or I'm going to give you an option to lift this. So hand down, reach the other hand up. Exhale, thread that hand through. Really nice on digestion, liver, this one. Taking it as a gentle stretch. Option 2, you're going to go up, lifting the hips up. You're going to go top foot, top leg, top foot goes in front of the bottom foot. You're going to reach up and then exhale for this twist. Reach your fingertips down to your ankles, sending your hips up. So choice there if you want to work more on your strength. Balance. And you can always go up and then come down as well if you want. One more. Okay, lowering down, we're going to clam, and if you want you could put in your loop band. 10 good clams. Resting your head on your hand neck stretch. It's also a bit of a wrist kind of strength and stretch as well. Almost like you're going to fall forwards, lift and lower, count yourself 10. Maybe hand on hip, just checking that you're not lifting and lowering, you're not opening in the hip. This is what it'd be looking like if you were opening. I'd be moving those hips, so just lift, just working with the knee. A little bit of tension there in the feet. Checking in on the core. Okay, top leg lift. Now you can keep the band in here if you want. One leg circle. Again, keep the control in here. The size of a pumpkin, a small moon. Tracing a witch's hat. Don't think I've got any more. Other way around. Keep the control in there. Keep working with the core as well. And release. Okay, if you can, grab a free weight. Sorry, I should have said that earlier. Double leg lift with scapula set. If you remember that, scapula set. So elbows on the side of the body and you're just lifting that weight up, down. It's a very different experience, just a single one on the side. So lift top leg, lift bottom leg, lift rib cage, scapula set on top, and then lower. Now you could go straight in, double leg lift, rib cage lift if you prefer. Lift and lower. Or you can break it up like I did. So just depending on how you feel. If it all floats up, feels good. Exhale, lift. Very small movements, but very effective. Legs nice and long. Rib cage lifting. Last one. Exhale, lift. And lower. Okay, let's go on to the other side. We started with the twist. So we had the seated thread through twist, or you can lift it, send those hips up, or perhaps just doing a little bit of both. Breathe in at the top, breathing out, thread through, dip the chin, looking back. And then your choice, if you wanted to lift that top leg, that foot just links in front. That just really helps to get the hips twisting around and lifting up. Quite nice on the hamstrings, the top one. Sending those hips up as you reach down. Breathing in at that top, breathing out, sweep. And then you might come down, do a couple at the bottom. Then let's go to the clam. So if you put your loop bands in, grab them again. I'm so hot, it's practically a sauna in here. The radiator's on full whack. Oh, I'm losing my train of thought a little bit. Leaning forwards. Just hand there on hip. 10 really good clams with this, with control. You might notice this side's, slightly different. That's fine. You'll get that. That's why we're doing Pilates. Often engaging the core. Eye gaze forwards as well. It's very tempting to look down at what's going on down at the legs. A little bit of tension in the feet. And then the one leg circle, the baby moons, pumpkins. I made pumpkin soup at the weekend. There's not much flesh in a pumpkin, is there? Mainly there's lots of seeds. Keep that control in there, back around the other way. Should be feeling that glute med, maybe around the hip as well. It's going to strengthen those small muscles inside the pelvis. Checking in with the breath, you're not holding the breath. Okay, lowering that leg, double leg lift with that scapular set. Elbow on top. So you've got a right angle in the elbow, so we're just lifting to there and lowering. You can do this without the weights also as well if you want. Lift top leg, lift bottom leg, lift that rib cage, put in your scapular set. And it's working with balance. If it suits you, everything lift, engage that core, everything lower. Exhale into the lift, inhale as you lower. Three more. And release. Okay, let's take the bands away. Weights to the side and we'll go on to our backs. Well, let's go straight in. 100 times 5. 4 toe taps, 8 pulses and an 8-second hold. Shoulders relaxed, length at the back of the neck. If you need to pelvic tilt, find neutral spine. Find that pelvic floor. Again, you could work on 100% and then take it down into sort of 50, get the imprint. Feet, knees, hip width apart, right angles behind the knees, palms up, shoulders relaxed. Here we go. 4 and 3. Try not to let these hips tilt here. Keep the imprint. 2, 1. Lift head and shoulders, look to the knees, pulse these arms. Keep the tummies pulled in. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fingertips to kneecaps, hold. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And release. If you want more tabletops, 4 and 3, 2, 1. Pulse. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And again then. 4, 3, 2, 1. Pulse. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold and breathe. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 2 more times. 4, 3, 2, 1. Pulse. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Teasers if you want them. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last time. 4, 3. Still imprinting. 2, 1. Pulse. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last hold. And breathe. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And release. Big full body stretch. Point the toes. Squeeze the glutes. Pull your tummies in. Get your shoulders to touch your ears. Scrunch up your fists. Scrunch up your face. Take a really big deep breath in. Really long and thin broomsticks. Exhale and just release. Take up loads of space. Bending in the knees then. And heel slide, hands on hips, shoulders relaxed, and try and keep the hips central. They're not tilting side to side. Just going to take you into a single leg stretch here. So if you want more, you can tabletop that and take your single leg stretch from there. And also you can do this with your into your heel slide. You're going to just reach your hands up to the ceiling like you're holding a baby moon. And then you're going to bring this across to the bent knee and the ankle. So see if you can touch fingertips to your ankle and then your top one to your knee. Come back. You're still holding on to that moon. And coming back. Or a large pumpkin. And then you can tabletop exactly that. See if you can keep that same space between the hands. So you dip that shoulder down and around. It's almost like you're putting the moon to the side of the body. Exhale into the lift. Inhale as you lower. Just a couple more. Placing the feet down, arms up to the ceiling. Breathing out, arms over the head if you've got the space, or circle this around the body. You can imagine here that you've got you're a bat with big wings and you've got wet in the rain and you're just letting them dry. Exhale. Imprinting the backs of the shoulders, imprint the lower back down. Option if you want, legs up to the ceiling, double leg stretch. Long exhales, 2 more. Keep that imprint going. Then place the arms down by the sides, bend the knees, both knees drop across to the side. Lower back release. Coming back into center, over to the other side. It's very fitting with Halloween. It actually smells like a dead mouse in here. Oh dear. Shouldn't say things like that out loud, should I? Maybe it's in the chimney. Option here if you want more of a stretch on your hamstrings. Tabletop. Extend out to the corners. Just working into the hamstrings, those IT bands. Chest stretch. Just taking what you need with this release work. Okay, gonna hamstring stretch. If you've got your long bands, you could put them in here. Does anyone else's mat move? my mat tends to move to the wall. Okay. Again, so we'll go for about 45 seconds on each leg. But I was skiing when I was at the race on Saturday. I was fell running, and someone was asking me about their ankles. A lot of people were taping their ankles, and I do think putting the foot in the length of the band, flex and point, can be a really good one for strengthening the ankle, and then inside and outside, so it just kind of plays with the areas either side of the shin bone. That can be really useful for if you're multi-terraining, you're off-roading, so just putting that one in there for for anyone that's off-roading. And then obviously you've got you can double your bands over as well, just to give you a little bit more hold and torque. Sometimes I often find that's a bit better to take a hamstring stretch, push away at the back of the knee, and just really long exhales. You can always do your 5 seconds push away, exhale, and then just see if you can find some sort of release on that stretch a couple of times through. And then your leg out to the side. That's another nice one, inner thigh stretch. Just linking into that move we did earlier with the legs apart, bending in one knee. Bring that leg in, and before we do hamstrings on the other side, take a glute stretch on this side. So just place that foot across, flex the foot. So let's just work one leg and then go to the other. Check in with the hips here. You haven't wiggled or tilted. Then you might want to push into the knee into hand, or you're threading through, picking up that foot. Take your glute stretch. Those that like it and you like your tilt, you can put your tilt in there like your foot's going to go over. So I'll just leave that up to you if you like that. Just kind of playing up with the edge and the corners of your stretches. Just keeping an eye on the chin here is not lifting up to the ceiling, so shoulders are relaxed as down as you can find them, and back of head and on the mat. And center, and then we'll go to the hamstring on the other side. So again, perhaps do what you did on the other side, where you did a little bit of flex and point in and out, and then went into the main bit. Also quite nice because it kind of connects with the calf, doesn't it, when you flex and point? So it just again works with all these nice little connections. And then whether you did a couple of rounds where you go 5 seconds, push away, perhaps a fast 10 seconds release. Depends how fast you count, doesn't it? And then taking that leg out to the side, get that inner thigh stretch. And then the glutes, facing the bands down, bring that foot across, flex that foot just to protect the ankle there. And then your choice whether you're pushing hand into knee into hand, or you're threading through, lifting up. Again, watch the head here, the chin's not lifting, your shoulders are relaxed. And then maybe you like the little bit of play with the tilt or the foot down. Okay, release, take a shoulder bridge, so bring the feet a bit closer, you can touch your heels, knees, feet, hip width apart, pelvic tilt. Treat it like a massage for the spine. And then you can lift up your hips, chin goes to chest, take the arms up and over. Now your choice here, you could articulate up and down here, or you could take a single leg lift, stretch. And then you could play with arms up and over. 3 on each leg if you can. That's a lower back exercise, a glute strengthener. Or maybe you could do or articulate down and lift up like a massage for that spine. So again, just work at what your body needs. We're really squeezing those glutes as you lift. Try and keep the hips. Try and keep the hips as high as you can. Exhale, lowering down, circle with the knees tucked in. Other way around. See if you can rock up to seated position. Couple of rollbacks. We're going to keep them quite tight today because we've done a bit of hamstring stretching already. So either rolling back or you might do a butterfly stretch, soles of feet together. So that's your stretch if you want to. Otherwise you might go with seals. So you're going to hold the feet, clap the feet, take them over. See if you can come back to hover position. Seals or crabs is the other one. So you could cross your legs, hold on to your feet, rock that back. Careful on crabs, you don't go too far back. And then you can come up onto your knees and lift your arms up and over. Anyone that wants it, you could put your elbows together and come into your Lotus mudra if that's there and you want to try it. And then one option, you can always eagle arms and Lotus mudra as well if you want it. You've got that full idea of the lotus growing out of the pool. Last one. Just a couple more moves. I think I've slightly gone over. I'll tie it up quickly now though. Flex the feet nice and tall. It's nice and tall. This one's a bit of a Halloween. You're going to go really slowly, like you're going down into a coffin. Oh, that's horrible, isn't it? All the way down. Circle the arms. And then all the way up, chin to chest. Reach the hands down to your feet. Put in the hamstring stretch there if you want to. Touch, lift. Slowly, slowly. Who is it? It's Dracula, isn't it? When he comes in and out. And if it suits you again, you could cross feet as well. That puts a little bit more intensity into one leg. And then uncross as you go down. And just cross as you come up, ready for your hamstring stretch. So that's always another little option if you want to play with that. Okay, let's spine twist. If you want, grab a block or a cushion. Crossing the legs, getting nice and tall, shoulders relaxed. Palms together if you like it. You can go to what we did earlier. And then put in your spine twist. Breathe in at center. Breathing out for your twist. Try and keep your shoulders relaxed. Crown of head shining to ceiling. You can also do flying lotus as well if you wanted to, if you like that. Just one more. Exhale into your twist. Last one. Big cauldron. If the feeling takes you, you could do some little cackling if you want to as you stir your cauldron. Up to you. As you're making your spells. Exhale as you're reaching forwards and you're putting your little cackles in there. Couple more. And bring the legs in together. Last little skeleton wiggle. Palms together. Namaste. Thank you.